the world of global power, it takes something extraordinary to surprise a US president. Yet when Lionel Messi walked into the White House with Inter Miami, even Donald Trump paused to acknowledge the influence of a man whose fortune exceeds hundreds of millions of dollars and whose name commands stadiums across continents. Watch until the end, because we're going to uncover the moment that stunned the White House, the rivalry with Cristiano Ronaldo even presidents talk about, and the hidden empire behind Messi's billion-dollar career, the White House moment that surprised Donald Trump. It's not every day that the White House, the symbolic center of American political power, suddenly becomes the stage for a moment from the world of global sports. But on the 5th of March 2026, something unusual happened in Washington, D.C. Inside the elegant East Room, surrounded by cameras, political figures, and championship trophies, Lionel Messi walked through the doors of the White House alongside his Inter Miami teammates. The visit was organized to celebrate Inter Miami's 2025 MLS Cup victory, where the club defeated the Vancouver Whitecaps 3-1 to win the league title. At first glance, it looked like a traditional American sports ceremony. Champions from professional leagues often visit the White House after winning major titles, but the atmosphere that day felt different. Because standing next to the president was not just a football player. It was Lionel Messi, a man whose career earnings have surpassed $1 billion and whose estimated personal fortune today sits around $650 million. This was not simply an athlete visiting a political building, it was a meeting between two very different types of global power. As the ceremony began, Donald Trump welcomed Messi and the Inter Miami squad, praising their championship run and acknowledging the extraordinary impact Messi has had on football around the world. The moment that caught everyone's attention came when Messi stepped forward with a set of symbolic gifts for the president. He handed Trump a pink Inter Miami soccer ball, a team jersey with the number 47, and a limited edition watch, transforming what might have been a routine sports ceremony into something memorable. Trump appeared visibly enthusiastic about the encounter. At one point, he told the crowd that welcoming Messi was something no previous American president had ever had the chance to say before. He even brought up a topic that has divided football fans for nearly 2 decades, the legendary rivalry between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Trump joked that both players were extraordinary champions, mentioning that his son Barron Trump is a huge fan of Messi and Ronaldo as well. For a few moments, the scene felt almost surreal. A US president known for dominating political headlines stood beside a football legend whose influence reaches billions of fans across the planet. Politics, sports, and celebrity culture had merged into a single moment. And that moment raised a fascinating question. Because while Messi stood there calmly in the White House, the truth is that his influence today extends far beyond football stadiums. Behind the quiet personality is a global empire built on hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, endorsements, businesses, and investments. So the real story isn't just about a visit to Washington. It's about how a boy from Rosario, Argentina, rose to a level of fame and financial power that allows him to walk into the most powerful building in America and instantly become the center of attention. But here's what I want to know from you. Do you think Messi has already surpassed Cristiano Ronaldo as the most influential athlete of this generation? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Messi versus Ronaldo, the rivalry even presidents talk about. One of the most fascinating moments during the White House ceremony wasn't actually about politics or even about Inter Miami's championship. It happened when Donald Trump casually mentioned the name Cristiano Ronaldo while standing next to Lionel Messi. For most people watching the event, that brief reference instantly reminded them of something much bigger than a single football match. Because for nearly 2 decades, the story of modern football has been shaped by one rivalry, Lionel Messi versus Cristiano Ronaldo. For almost 20 years, these two players have dominated the sport in ways that are almost impossible to compare with any previous generation. Between them, they have won multiple Ballon d'Or trophies, hundreds of goals, and dozens of major titles, while building global fan bases that stretch across every continent. But what makes their rivalry unique isn't just what happened on the pitch. It's what happened off the field, where both players quietly built financial empires that rival those of major global celebrities. Take the numbers, for example. Lionel Messi's estimated net worth sits around $650 million, built from football contracts, endorsements, and investments. His annual income in recent years has hovered around $130 million, combining salary and endorsement deals with brands like Adidas, MasterCard, and Pepsi. Cristiano Ronaldo, however, has pushed the financial scale even further. His net worth is often estimated close to $800 million or more, with career earnings that have already surpassed $1 billion. In fact, according to Forbes rankings, Ronaldo topped the list of the world's highest-paid athletes with approximately $275 million in a single year, driven by massive club salaries and endorsement deals. And those endorsements are enormous. Ronaldo's lifetime partnership with Nike alone is reportedly worth over $1 billion, making it one of the most lucrative sponsorship agreements in sports history. Meanwhile, Messi maintains a long-term deal with Adidas that generates around $20 million annually, alongside numerous global marketing campaigns. Yet, despite the similar levels of wealth and fame, the two icons built their reputations in very different ways. Messi has always been known for a quieter personality, focusing on family life and letting his performances speak for themselves. Ronaldo, on the other hand, built a brand that thrives on charisma, style, and global celebrity culture. His social media presence alone reaches hundreds of millions of followers, turning every post into a marketing event. And this contrast is exactly what makes their rivalry so powerful, because in reality, the debate about Messi versus Ronaldo is no longer just about football. It has become a discussion about two completely different models of global influence, one built on quiet excellence, the other built on bold personal branding. So when Donald Trump mentioned both names in the same breath during the White House ceremony, it wasn't just a casual joke. It was a reminder that the Messi-Ronaldo rivalry has grown so large that even presidents feel compelled to acknowledge it. From Rosario to the center of global power, long before Lionel Messi ever stepped into a place like the White House, before the billion-dollar headlines and global sponsorship deals, his story began in a very different setting. A small neighborhood in Rosario, Argentina, where football wasn't a luxury industry but simply a way of life. Messi was just a child when he joined the local club Newell's Old Boys, already showing a level of talent that made him stand out from almost every other kid on the field. By the time he was 10 years old, he had already scored hundreds of goals in youth competitions, becoming part of the famous Machine of '87 youth team, which dominated local tournaments for years. But while Messi's talent was obvious, his future almost disappeared before it ever began. At around age 10 or 11, doctors discovered that he was suffering from growth hormone deficiency, a medical condition that prevented his body from developing normally. The treatment required daily injections and specialized medication, costing roughly $1,000 per month, an enormous financial burden for his working-class family. For a young boy whose father worked in a steel factory and whose mother worked part-time cleaning houses, those costs were almost impossible to sustain. Local clubs in Argentina admired Messi's talent, but few were willing to commit to paying for such an expensive medical treatment. Without that treatment, doctors believed Messi might never grow tall enough to compete at a professional level. Everything changed when the family traveled to Barcelona, Spain, for a football trial that would become part of football legend. During the tryout, coaches reportedly needed only a few minutes to realize what they were watching. Messi's control, vision, and balance were already extraordinary. Barcelona quickly offered a youth contract and agreed to pay for his entire hormone treatment, something no other club had been willing to guarantee. That decision didn't just change Messi's life, it changed the history of football. Messi moved to Spain at age 13, entering the famous La Masia Academy, where he rapidly progressed through the youth teams. Within a few years, he was breaking scoring records, and by the time he reached the first team, the football world began to realize something extraordinary was happening. Over the next 2 decades, Messi would become Barcelona's all-time leading scorer, win 8 Ballon d'Or awards, and lead Argentina to victory in the 2022 FIFA World Cup, completing the ultimate achievement in football. What makes this journey so remarkable is not just the trophies or the goals, it's the scale of transformation. The boy whose family struggled to pay $1,000 a month for medical treatment would eventually build a career generating over $1 billion in total earnings. And decades later, that same child from Rosario would find himself walking into the most powerful buildings in the world, not as a patient seeking help, but as one of the most influential athletes on the planet. The $650 million fortune behind Messi's global influence. By the time Lionel Messi walked into places like the White House, he was no longer just a football player. Behind the calm personality and quiet smile stood a financial empire that had been built over more than 2 decades at the top of global sport. According to multiple financial estimates, Messi's career earnings have surpassed $1 billion, placing him among the rare group of athletes who have crossed that extraordinary threshold. But what makes Messi's story fascinating is not just the total number, it's how that fortune was built piece by piece over time. During the peak years of his career, Messi consistently ranked among the highest-paid athletes in the world, earning around $130 million in a single year when salary and endorsements were combined. A large portion of that wealth originally came from his legendary era at FC Barcelona, where he signed some of the most lucrative contracts in football history. Later, when he moved to Paris Saint-Germain, his annual salary alone was estimated at around $45 million, with bonuses and incentives pushing his yearly income close to $75 million. These contracts reflected not only his performance on the field, but also his enormous global marketing value. Today, Messi's move to Inter Miami opened an entirely new financial chapter. His base salary in Major League Soccer is officially around $12 million per year, with guaranteed compensation reaching roughly $20 million annually. But that number tells only part of the story. When additional revenue streams are included, such as sponsorship bonuses, equity arrangements, and commercial partnerships tied to the league insiders, estimate his total compensation could reach $70 to $80 million per year. And then there are the endorsements. Messi's partnership with Adidas, which began in 2006, remains one of the most recognizable athlete sponsorships in the world. Beyond Adidas, he has signed deals with global companies such as Pepsi, MasterCard, Huawei, and Gillette, partnerships that generate tens of millions of dollars annually and keep his brand visible far beyond football stadiums. What makes this empire remarkable is its scale. At one point, analysts estimated Messi's total net worth to be between $650 million and $850 million, depending on investments, real estate holdings, and business ventures. And this is why moments like the White House visit carry such symbolic weight. Because when Messi walks into a room today, he is not just representing a football club. He represents a global financial brand, a career that transformed a boy from Rosario into one of the most economically powerful athletes the world has ever seen. Mansions, supercars, and Messi's global lifestyle. When you begin to explore Lionel Messi's life away from the football field, you start to see something fascinating. His lifestyle doesn't revolve around loud displays of wealth or extravagant headlines. Instead, it reflects a very calculated approach to luxury, one built around privacy, comfort, and strategic investments across the world. And that story begins with real estate. After joining Inter Miami, Messi purchased a stunning waterfront mansion in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for about $10.75 million. The property sits inside the exclusive gated community of Bay Colony and spans roughly 10,500 square feet, featuring multiple bedrooms, a large swimming pool, a private gym, and even 2 boat docks facing the waterfront. This is not just a vacation home. It represents a carefully chosen base near Inter Miami's facilities, allowing Messi to enjoy both security and access to the ocean lifestyle that defines South Florida's elite neighborhoods. But Florida is only one piece of Messi's global property portfolio. Years earlier, he invested in a luxury residence in the famous Porsche Design Tower in Miami, a futuristic skyscraper known for one of the most unusual features in luxury real estate, a private car elevator that allows residents to park their vehicles directly next to their apartments. Messi reportedly purchased one of the Ocean View units for around $5 million, gaining access to a building filled with amenities such as a spa, private restaurant, and high-security services designed specifically for celebrities and billionaires. These properties highlight an interesting pattern. Messi tends to choose locations that combine luxury with discretion. Instead of building enormous palaces designed to impress the public, he favors homes that offer privacy and comfort for his family, while still carrying significant long-term investment value. And then there is his passion for cars. Messi's garage has quietly become the dream of automotive enthusiasts around the world. Among the vehicles connected to his collection are high-performance machines, such as the Bentley Bentayga, the Audi R8 Spider, and the Maserati Gran Turismo. But the most intriguing car often associated with Messi is the ultra-rare Pagani Zonda, a handcrafted Italian hypercar that can be valued at around $2 million depending on the model and specifications. For many athletes, luxury purchases are simply rewards for success. But in Messi's case, they reveal something deeper about how modern sports icons manage wealth. Real estate across continents, rare vehicles, and carefully selected residences all reflect a lifestyle designed not only for enjoyment, but for long-term financial stability. Because when your career earnings exceed $1 billion, luxury stops being just about spending money. It becomes another way to protect and grow it. Private jets, luxury businesses, and the Messi empire. When Lionel Messi steps off the football pitch, his world doesn't slow down. In many ways, it expands even further. Because beyond the trophies, beyond the stadiums packed with fans, Messi has quietly built a network of assets and businesses that operate across continents. And one of the clearest symbols of that global lifestyle is the way he travels. Like many athletes whose careers require constant international movement, Messi relies on a private jet, specifically a Gulfstream V, a long-range business aircraft valued at roughly $15 million, depending on configuration and ownership structure. The aircraft is designed for intercontinental travel, capable of flying thousands of miles without stopping, and its cabin can be configured with reclining seats that convert into beds, a kitchen area, and multiple bathrooms. For Messi, this jet isn't just a luxury accessory. It's a tool that allows him to move quickly between Miami, Barcelona, Rosario, and global sponsorship events, maintaining the pace of a career that generates tens of millions of dollars every year. But aviation is only a small part of Messi's financial ecosystem. Over the past decade, he has gradually expanded into the world of hospitality through MIM Hotels, a boutique luxury hotel chain with properties in destinations like Mallorca and Baqueira in Spain. These hotels are designed for the premium travel market, where suites can cost over $1,000 per night, catering to visitors seeking exclusive coastal resorts or high-end ski experiences. Messi also stepped into fashion with the launch of the Messi store, a clothing brand developed with Ginny Hilfiger, the sister of designer Tommy Hilfiger. The brand blends sportswear with lifestyle, fashion, and quickly built a global audience online, gaining millions of followers across social media platforms. For Messi, this venture represents something important, a shift from athlete to long-term brand creator. Then there are his lifestyle choices at sea. During vacations, Messi has often been seen enjoying time aboard luxury yachts, such as the Bonetti Inspiration, a 125-foot superyacht valued at around $20 million, with features like multiple decks, lounge areas, and private pools. Renting a yacht of this level can cost around $200,000 per week, a level of spending reserved for the world's elite travelers. When you combine all of these elements together, private aviation, luxury hospitality investments, global fashion branding, and high-end leisure travel, a much bigger picture begins to appear. Messi is no longer just a football legend. He is the center of a global lifestyle brand built on career earnings exceeding $1 billion. And that transformation is what makes his story so powerful. Because the boy who once needed $1,000 a month for medical treatment eventually created a financial empire that now moves across the world with the same quiet precision he once used to control a football on the pitch. When you step back from the headlines, this story reveals something deeper about how modern influence works. First, true global power is no longer limited to politics or business. Athletes like Messi have built financial empires exceeding hundreds of millions of dollars, turning sporting success into international cultural authority. Second, wealth at this level is rarely accidental. Strategic endorsements, global investments, and brand partnerships allow elite figures to transform fame into long-term economic ecosystems, ensuring their influence lasts far beyond their careers. And third, the intersection between sports, politics, and global celebrity is becoming one of the most powerful stages in modern society. When figures like Messi enter places such as the White House, they are not simply athletes anymore. They become symbols of global soft power. If you enjoy uncovering how wealth, influence, and global icons quietly shape the world, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we'll explore another unbelievable clash of power and luxury, the hidden billionaire lifestyle of the world's most influential athletes and the private empires they control behind the scenes.